Great. Thank you so much, Kristen, and thank you, everyone. I know this is the much anticipated portion of the presentation, so I will not dawdle and I will go ahead and tell you all about these roles and how you can be involved. So we have three strands of the campaign, and I'm just going to highlight each of them, and then I'm going to tell you how you can get this, information in a nice packaged form, and where you can drop things off and all that jazz. So the first strand of the campaign is sending season's greetings. As mentioned, a letter, a card, something that will kind of reach across that gap and let people know that they are remembered, whether they are in direct provision, whether they're in a domestic violence refuge, whether they're in the homeless hostel. We would love to have cards and letters. Get your kids involved, get the whole family involved, making cards, writing in them. We'd love to have them from all of you. You can mail them in, you can drop them off. I'll talk about dropping off in a minute, but I'll just say you can also designate those cards for any one of those three groups, or you can designate them. You could send us 3 cards, one for each group. However you want to do things, multiple cards are fine. A nice cheerful card is lovely, because if you keep in mind, someone who's living in a 1-bedroom situation, they're staying in their room a lot of the times, a nice cheerful bright glittery card could really spike things up for the holidays. So I'm quite partial to that, and we actually have some tips on the blog that I wrote because I'm partial to it. We have some tips up on our blog to help you get started if you're thinking that writing a card is a little bit daunting. But that's the first strand. The second strand is donating items, including those Christmas jumpers that Brad spoke about, the jackets that were mentioned, books for kids as well as for adults and for teenagers, and toiletry items. So as we mentioned, these are lovely things that have all been identified by our partner organizations as being things that are needed. It's easy, I think, when you talk about making donations to kind of think about what you yourself would want. Well, these are all been identified as things that are wanted, that are needed. So everything from very practical, simple items like toiletries, feminine hygiene items, razors, shampoo, soap, the whole range of toiletry items would be very much appreciated. As for books, we're looking for activity books, coloring books for kids, including crayons, coloring pencils, markers, all that kind of thing, as well as books, fiction for teenagers and adults, things that could help to pass some time and keep people occupied. It would be really lovely. I think a lovely idea would be to think about the books that maybe you've enjoyed this year, the books that your children enjoy, and to maybe make a gift of those books for someone who is having a rougher Christmas, maybe. Lucy mentioned the jackets in all sizes and the Christmas jumpers. As Brad mentioned, we do have a list of the size, the different sizes and everything, and we can send that on to you when you apply for this role. So just to move on really quickly to the third strand of the campaign. The third strand of the campaign is all around crafting. So many of us have been maybe doing a bit more crafting this year as we've been home. If you knit, if you crochet, if you sew, any kind of handmade gifts would be such a wonderful thing to share with someone who is living in one of these circumstances. Any kind of handmade item that would just really be a lovely thing to share your skills, your talents, and your handiwork with people at Christmas. So those are the 3 kinds of things that we are looking for, and we would love to have those items from you as a gift to others at this season. Our partner, Third Space, which is a cafe in Smithfield, it's a social enterprise. It's a really great place. They have very generously offered to be kind of our post box for this campaign. They're open for takeaway coffee. Just a suggestion if you feel like a coffee when you're dropping off your items. But you can also post your letters there. Or if you're not able to get out, you could post things to them as well. We're asking that you please include your name and email on a separate sheet with your donation. Now, I've rattled through a lot of these things. You're probably having a lot of questions and you're probably saying, Third Space Cafe, do I have to write this down? Where is this? Julie, why do you expect me to know where this is? I don't expect you to know where this is. What I would suggest to you is that you visit our website, volunteerdublincity.ie. We have all the details of these roles up on that website. And if you're registered with us already, you can register your interest for the role just like you would for any other volunteer role. And myself and Kristen and the rest of the placement team will be in touch with you to share with you the exact details of how to make your donation with tips, suggestions, those sizes for the jumpers, the address for the cafe, and how exactly to address and donate your items. We would love to hear from you as well if you have any questions or any other kinds of connections that you'd like to share with us. If your company, if your office, your club, your church would like to organize a campaign to collect items, we would love to hear from you. So you can email us at info@volunteerdublincity.ie. That's info@volunteerdublincity.ie. And if you have any questions about items to donate, you're welcome to get in touch with us there as well. I would just reiterate what Kelly said earlier, as far as, I think a really lovely way to approach this campaign is to think about, if this was a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a niece or a nephew, what would you want them to receive for Christmas? And to think about that when you're putting your donations together. We really thank you all so much for your generosity. I'm so pleased that so many of you have joined us this evening to hear about this campaign and to hear about what it is we're trying to achieve this Christmas season. And I hope that you'll join us.